Does this time of year feel different to you, Scorpio? As the air grows crisp and the leaves bleed into crimson and gold, does some ancient, nameless part of you feel less like you're entering a holiday season and more like you're coming home? There's a stirring in your blood, isn't there? A hum of recognition in the scent of burning wood. A whisper of familiarity in the way the shadows stretch long and skeletal in the late afternoon sun. It's a feeling that you've known this twilight, this specific thinning of the veil, 1,000 times before. This story is a journey into one such possibility, an exploration of an echo that may be reverberating through your very soul. It's a tapestry woven from archetypes and starlight, a myth offered not as fact, but as a mirror. If this narrative resonates with you, if you feel a flicker of recognition in its threads, then take what you need from it and let it illuminate the parts of you that have been waiting in the dark. If not, simply let it pass by, like a cloud across the moon. For this is your story to claim or release, and its only truth is the one you find for yourself within it. The first hint isn't a grand vision or a booming voice from the heavens. It's subtle, like the scent of rain on dry earth just before a storm. It's the inexplicable pull you feel towards a particular herb in a health food store, mugwort or yarrow or vervain, without knowing why. Your fingers graze the dried leaves, and for a split second the fluorescent lighting of the store melts away, replaced by the flickering glow of a tallow candle on a rough-hewn wooden table. You shake your head, the moment gone as quickly as it came, dismissing it as an overactive imagination, a symptom of the season. But the moments keep coming, like breadcrumbs left on a forgotten path. You find yourself staring at a full moon, not with casual admiration, but with a deep, instinctual understanding of its phases, its power, its pull on the tides both of the ocean and of the human heart. You can almost feel its energy on your skin, a silver, cooling balm. You might be walking through a park when a crow lands on a branch nearby, cawing once, its black eye fixing on you with an intelligence that feels personal, ancient. And in that moment, you feel not like you are seeing a bird, but that you are being seen by an old friend, a messenger, a confidant. You have an uncanny ability to read people, to see past the masks they present to the world. You've always called it intuition, a good judge of character. But lately it's felt deeper. You don't just sense their intentions. You feel the shape of their secrets, the weight of their unspoken wounds, the echoes of their pasts. It's an overwhelming flood of information, and it leaves you feeling both powerful and profoundly isolated. This Halloween, something shifts. The veil isn't just thin. For you, it has torn open. Perhaps you're carving a pumpkin, the knife scraping against the tough orange flesh, and the scent of it, raw, earthy and sweet, triggers something profound. Suddenly, you are not in your kitchen. You are somewhere else entirely. The air is thick with the smell of damp soil, burning leaves and something else. Something metallic and sharp. You feel the rough, scratchy wool of a cloak against your neck, and your hands are not your own. They are chapped, calloused, yet nimble, stained with the juice of berries and the green of crushed herbs. A memory so vivid it steals your breath, floods your senses. It's not a thought, it's a feeling, a knowing. You are standing at the edge of a dark wood, the trees like silent giants against a bruised purple sky. You are not afraid. This forest is your sanctuary, your library, your temple. The vision shatters. You're back in your kitchen, the knife in your hand, your heart hammering against your ribs. Your breath comes in ragged gasps. It was more real than a dream, more tangible than a memory from your own life. It felt like remembering. Not the act of recalling a piece of information, but the deep, cellular act of a part of you waking up from a long, long slumber. This wasn't a fantasy. It was an echo from a life lived before, a life where you were not who you are now, a life where they called you a witch. The chaos of this realization is terrifying and exhilarating all at once. Your logical mind scrambles for an explanation, for a neat box to put this experience in. Stress, lack of sleep, the power of suggestion during the Halloween season. But your soul, that deep, unshakable Scorpio core of you, rejects these simple answers. It knows. It has been waiting for you to listen. You begin to reflect, to piece together the fragments. Your lifelong fascination with the occult, with astrology, with tarot, with the hidden architecture of the universe. Was it just a hobby, or was it a soul trying to reconnect with its native language? Your fierce independence and your almost pathological need for privacy, were they just personality quirks, or were they the deeply ingrained survival instincts of a woman who had to hide her power to stay alive? You think of your relationships, the way you love with an all-consuming intensity, the way you demand absolute loyalty, and the searing pain of betrayal that can turn your love to ice. It's the echo of a time when a trusted neighbor's whisper, a jealous friend's lie, could mean the difference between life and a brutal, fiery death. Your stinger, that famous Scorpio defense mechanism, wasn't born in this lifetime. It was forged in the fires of persecution, a necessary weapon for a soul that learned the hard way that the world fears what it cannot understand or control. This initial reflection opens a new door of curiosity, a deeper, more intentional seeking. You're no longer a passive recipient of these flashes. You are an active archaeologist of your own soul. You start to notice patterns, synchronicities. You'll be thinking of a specific herb, and then a documentary about it will appear on your streaming service. You'll have a dream of a stone circle, and the next day, you'll see a picture of the exact same formation in a book. The universe is conspiring to help you remember, laying out the clues one by one. You feel drawn to history, not the grand histories of kings and wars, but the hidden histories, the folk tales, the stories of the common people, the healers, the midwives, the cunning women. In their stories you find pieces of your own. The chaos that follows this new seeking is more internal, more profound. As the memories become clearer, they are not all moonlit rituals and a gentle communion with nature. You remember the fear. You remember the weight of being the one the village turned to when the doctors failed, when the priests offered no comfort. You were their last hope and also their first scapegoat. You remember the impossible choices, a difficult birth where you could only save the mother or the child, a blight on the crops that you were powerless to stop, despite their pleading eyes, a sickness that swept through the village, and the suspicion that fell upon you when your own family, through your knowledge of hygiene and herbs, remained untouched. You remember the crushing loneliness of it all. You could see the threads of fate, the patterns of cause and effect, but you could not speak of them plainly. You had to couch your wisdom in riddles, in folk remedies, in rituals they could understand, because the raw truth of your sight would have terrified them. You were in the community, but never truly of it. You were a fulcrum, a point of power, and that made you a target. You remember the betrayal. It wasn't a faceless mob that condemned you. It was someone you knew, someone you had helped. Perhaps it was a young woman to whom you'd given a tonic for her cramps, who then accused you of cursing her womb when she failed to conceive. Perhaps it was a man whose failing business you'd warned him about, who then blamed your evil eye for his misfortune. The memory of their face, twisted with fear and self-serving righteousness, is a dagger in your present-day heart. It's the source of that deep, primal wound of betrayal that every Scorpio carries. As you sit with the emotional fallout of this remembered trauma, a powerful reflection begins. You realize that the woman you were did not see herself as a witch in the way modern culture portrays it. She did not worship evil or consort with demons. She was a woman of immense power, a scientist of the unseen, a psychologist before the term existed, a conduit for the life force of the earth itself. Her magic was not about spells and incantations spat into a cauldron. It was about understanding the intricate web of connection that binds all things. It was the knowledge that the willow tree holds the cure for a fever, that the moon governs the cycles of fertility, that a kind word and a poultice can heal more than just the skin. Her power was the power of observation, intuition, and a fearless willingness to work with the forces that others denied or feared. This reflection transforms your understanding of your own power. Your modern-day Scorpio intensity is not a flaw. It is the focused will of a woman who once had to bend reality to her will to survive. Your obsessive nature is not a weakness. It is the echo of a mind that had to memorize hundreds of herbs, lunar cycles, and familial histories to be an effective healer. Your magnetism, that almost hypnotic quality that draws people to you and makes them confess their deepest secrets, is the lingering aura of a soul that once served as the confessor and counselor for an entire community. You are not haunted by this past life. You are its living legacy. The witch was not burned. She was distilled. She was compressed into a single seed of soul energy that was planted in the darkness, waiting for the right lifetime, the right moment, this Halloween, to finally break through the soil and bloom again as you. The curiosity now shifts from the who and why of the past to the what now of the present. Knowing this, what do you do? How do you integrate this immense, ancient truth into your 21st century life? This is where the next and perhaps most difficult cycle of chaos begins. The mundane world suddenly seems absurd, a cheap imitation of reality. Your office job, with its fluorescent lights and meaningless spreadsheets, feels like a cage. The superficial chatter at social gatherings feels like a foreign language you can no longer be bothered to speak. A chasm opens up between your ancient awakened soul and the persona you have been performing your entire life. You might try to suppress it again, to push it all back down and pretend it was just a strange seasonal fantasy. But you can't. The witch is awake now, and she will not be silenced. She questions everything. Why do you tolerate that friend who drains your energy? Why do you stay in a job that starves your soul? Why do you dim your own light to make others feel more comfortable? The chaos is a war within yourself. The modern you, conditioned for compliance and fitting in, is at odds with the ancient you, a sovereign being who answered to no one but the earth and her own spirit. This internal conflict can be agonizing. It can manifest as depression, anxiety, a feeling of being utterly out of place in your own life. You are shedding a skin that no longer fits, and the process is raw and painful. You are experiencing a soul-level death and rebirth, the ultimate Scorpio transformation. During this tumultuous period, you find yourself drawn to new practices, or drawn back to old ones with a newfound seriousness. You don't just read your tarot cards, you have conversations with them. They become a direct line to that deep intuitive knowledge you now recognize as your own. You don't just buy crystals because they're pretty. You feel their specific frequencies, their vibrations, and you learn to work with them as tools for focusing your own energy. You might start a small herb garden on your windowsill, and as you tend to the plants, you feel the memories in your hands return, the muscle memory of how to crush a leaf, how to dry a flower, how to listen to what the plant has to offer. This is your reflection period, your integration. You are not trying to recreate the past life. That would be impossible and foolish. Instead, you are learning to translate the witch's skills into the modern world. Your ability to see the hidden truth in people. It's no longer a burden. It's a powerful tool for discernment. You become a living lie detector, and you use this gift to surround yourself only with people who are authentic and whose energy aligns with your own. Your intense, passionate nature, you stop apologizing for it and start channeling it into a creative project, a business, a cause you believe in. You become a force of nature, a catalyst for transformation in your own life and in the lives of those you touch. The shadow work that Scorpios are famous for becomes your primary spiritual practice. You are not afraid to look into the darkness, your own or others, because you remember a life lived in the twilight, a life where you understood that the most potent healing comes from confronting the shadows, not pretending they don't exist. You are reclaiming your power, not as a witch of the old world, but as a modern Scorpio who is fully, consciously, and unapologetically awake. Finally, you come to understand the true meaning of Halloween. It is not a night for costumes and candy, though you may still enjoy those things. For you, it is an anniversary. It is the anniversary of your remembering. Samhain, the ancient Celtic festival from which Halloween derives, was the new year for the witches. It was a time of honoring the ancestors, of divination, of looking both backward and forward. And that is what it has become for you. You look back and honor the woman you were, the sacrifices she made, the wisdom she carried, the legacy she left in your very DNA. You acknowledge her pain, her persecution, and you consciously release the trauma, keeping only the strength. You are her vindication. Your freedom, your ability to study what you wish, to speak your mind, to be a powerful and respected woman. This is the future she could only dream of. And then you look forward. You see your life stretching out before you, not as a series of random events, but as a path of purpose. You are here to bring that ancient wisdom into the modern world. Maybe you'll do it by becoming a therapist who understands the soul's deep wounds. Maybe you'll become an artist whose work is infused with magic and meaning. Maybe you'll be an activist, fighting for the earth that was once your only temple. Or maybe you'll simply be a person who lives with unshakable integrity, who refuses to be small, who inspires others to reclaim their own power simply by living so fully in yours. The form doesn't matter. The essence does. This Halloween, as you light a candle and watch the flame dance, you see it all. You see the flickering candle on her simple wooden table. You see the bonfires of the ancient festivals. You see the terrible fires of the persecutions. And you see the eternal, unquenchable flame within your own soul. You are the witch who got away. You are the spell that worked. You are the promise she made to herself in the smoke and the terror. A promise to one day return, to be reborn in a time when her power would not be a death sentence, but a gift. A promise to remember. Tonight, Scorpio, the promise is fulfilled. You remember who you are. Welcome home.